WSBA Morning News with Gary Sutton on a Tuesday morning. Front page of the York Daily Record today says NAACP Mayor Helfrich to show police lip sync video at an NAACP meeting tonight. But apparently there was a video put out, and I watched it this morning, Maple Donuts and the York City Police, and they were interrogating the donut. It was kind of a fun video. But Mayor Helfrich with us here this morning to talk about it from his point of view. Mayor, good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning, Gary. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, what's the rub here? I watched the video. It looked like kind of a fun video, but you say it's coming from a company and I guess Charlie Burnside and Maple Donuts that uses divisive messaging. Tell us about that.
Well, it's absolutely a fun video, and I appreciate the intent that the police officers had behind it. But unfortunately, as the mayor, I have to worry about the feelings of the people in the city of York. And because Mr. Burnside has chosen to use wedge issues in his advertising, there are quite a few people that feel offended by the way that he does this.
Well, why would they be offended here? I mean, I've seen some of the advertising. I mean, I saw the "We Stand, We Don't Kneel" for the national anthem kind of thing, and I saw, he used to have a thing about free OJ and all that kind of stuff.
Let's talk about those two issues. Those two issues are very specific to things that have divided our country, and particularly divided it upon racial lines. And when you appropriate those kinds of things and make them humorous, there's no doubt, particularly when you're appropriating something that is important to the African American community, or at least many members of the African American community, you're picking a side. And I don't want our police officers to be associated with any sides.
Well, but let me ask you a question
here. They need
here.
to be neutral.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm looking at it here in this situation. This video doesn't appear to take any side. I mean, we're talking about a donut. I mean, you're
not in a vacuum here.
Well, but
you can't just look at the video and say that because it's not. None of this is about the video content. It is about the things that have been represented by a specific company.
Well, wait a minute then. But what you're saying to me is you don't have the right to a point of view as a company. In other words,
you
if he had the right,
absolutely do.
Okay, now let me take that. But
First Amendment rights, you have every right as a company. But now, when you associate with the police department of the city of York, and there is a concern that people will associate those views of the company with the police department, that harms the relationship between the police department and residents of the city of York. And those residents have told me that.
Well, let me ask you this question then. So if he has a point of view which differs from maybe people who are in the city of York that are in your particular jurisdiction, does that mean he cannot then help to raise money for the police department because he has that point of view? You're now saying because he has a specific point of view, there's not room for him to help the police department by producing a video with them as a fun kind of thing and raising money for them, which I understand they have raised like $5,000 here, and that then we could tell the Revolution not to play that on their screen downtown. Tell me about that. Well, how that kind of joins together. I don't understand it.
Well, first of all, nobody ever told me about any kind of fundraiser. This was supposed to be a lip sync challenge. So this whole part that came out on Friday, which I didn't learn about this until Friday, about a video that was going to be played on Saturday. This is all news to me. Of course, if any company wants to help us raise funds, that's great. But shooting a video that essentially looks like a commercial for a company that is that divides that further divides us here in the city, I don't think that's appropriate.
Have you become too sensitive in the city? Have you become too oversensitive with this kind of thing where you're kind of reading things into something where maybe it's not?
There's no reading anything into it. This is what the citizens have told me.
Right.
Does
that mean citizens are just the NAACP?
No, it had nothing to do with it. I didn't call the NAACP until Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to many other citizens before that, and they were actually, when I called the NAACP, I was trying to figure out a way to show the video. I was trying to actually see if I could get any support to show the video.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people had told me ahead of time, no, it would take a disclaimer and a major PR campaign to make sure that people knew that the police department did not stand with the opinions that were represented or the jokes that were made under the name of Maple Donuts. You know, when somebody tells you need a disclaimer on something to even show it, you know you're in shaky ground already.
Well, Mayor, we have to run, but I appreciate you taking the time to give us your point of view this morning. I think we probably disagree on this fairly well, but respectfully, I might add. So thank you for taking the time.
I respect you too, Gary. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it.